The blueprint between us. By the time Maya Torres and Eli Brooks reached the double doors of the old middle school gymnasium, the rain had stopped, but the sidewalk still held it in shallow silver pools. Students hurried around them in bright career day lanyards, stepping over puddles and clutching folders stuffed with brochures. Through the glass doors, Maya could see tables arranged beneath the basketball hoops, a firefighter's helmet, a model heart, a small solar panel, a drone folded neatly beside a tablet. Above the entrance hung a wide banner that read Career Day 2044. Its metallic letters changed color whenever someone moved beneath the motion sensors. Green slid into blue. Blue faded toward violet. The effect was meant to look futuristic, Maya supposed, though it made the banner seem restless, as if it could not decide what it wanted to become. Eli stopped beneath it and tipped his head back. "That thing looks like a warning label." Maya laughed, surprised by how familiar his voice still sounded after all these years. "You have not changed at all." "That is not true. I have a license, a mortgage, and opinions about electrical code." "You had opinions about electrical code when you were 13. "That was different. Back then, nobody asked me to explain them in front of 200 people. Maya adjusted the badge clipped to her jacket. Beneath her name, it identified her as an environmental engineer for the Coastal Water Systems Authority. Eli's tag named him a licensed electrician and smart grid specialist. Their careers sounded impressive when printed in clean black letters, but Maya had learned that job titles could hide almost as much as they revealed. They did not show the nights she had spent studying storm maps or the weeks Eli had worked in dangerous summer heat to restore power after a hurricane. They did not show how often either of them had doubted the choices that had led them there. Inside, the gym hummed with conversation. Students drifted from table to table, asking questions that seemed both eager and cautious. A veterinarian knelt beside an old beagle wearing a red bandana. A construction manager pointed to a digital building model that spun slowly above her tablet. At another table, a robotics company demonstrated a machine that sorted discarded plastic into separate bins with calm mechanical precision. Maya and Eli had barely reached their seats when a boy in the front row raised his hand. "Which one of you picked the safer future?" The question landed with more force than Maya expected. Several students turned toward her, then toward Eli. Behind them, a teacher lowered her coffee cup and waited. Eli glanced at Maya. For the briefest moment, she saw the same look he had worn in 8th grade whenever someone made an assumption about him before he had decided what to say. It was not anger exactly. It was the tight, guarded expression of someone who had learned that other people often made quick stories out of limited information. "That depends on what you mean by safe," he said at last. Maya heard the answer, but her mind had already traveled backward to room 214, where the windows rattled whenever the buses passed and Mrs. Daniels kept a basket of dried-out markers that no one was allowed to throw away. 26 years earlier, the two of them had been sitting across from each other at a scarred wooden table, surrounded by poster board, wire clippings, and a half-built model bridge. Their assignment had been called Blueprint Your Future. At first, Maya had loved the project. She liked the research, the neat columns of notes, the feeling that she could gather enough information to make a confusing question manageable. She had chosen environmental engineering because she wanted to understand why bridges failed, why neighborhoods flooded, and why some communities had clean water while others waited for someone to fix a problem that had been ignored for years. Eli had chosen electrical work. He had spent half the project period drawing a building's wiring system with more care than most students gave their final posters. He enjoyed finding the hidden path inside a complicated system, the route a current followed, the place a connection failed, the small error that could make an entire room go dark. Then Maya opened the career planning program on her laptop. The program had been advertised as a tool for students. Enter your interests, select subjects you enjoyed, and receive possible career matches with training information and future job predictions. Maya had typed in engineering, water systems, research, and design. The answer appeared almost immediately. Automation may reduce demand for some design tasks. Consider careers with high human interaction. She read the sentence twice. It was not cruel. It did not say she could not become an engineer. Still, something about its calm certainty made her chest tighten. "What is wrong?" Eli asked, looking up from the circuit board he had been trying to wire into a cardboard house. Maya turned the screen toward him. "It says AI may do parts of engineering better than people." Eli studied the screen, then leaned back. "It says parts. But what if those are the parts I want to do?" He did not answer right away. Instead, he opened his own career report and slid it across the table. Hands-on technical careers may offer strong opportunities. Training can be completed through apprenticeships or trade programs. Maya looked up. "That sounds good. It sounds like the computer has already decided I am not going to college." "It does not say that." "No," he said quietly, "but everybody else does." The words sat between them, heavier than the laptop, the model bridge, and the unfinished project board. Maya had never thought Eli was less capable than she was. He solved problems she could not see. He could take apart a broken charger, a classroom fan, or the loose wheel on a rolling cart and somehow understand where the problem began. Yet she knew what he meant. Adults often praised him for being practical in a tone that suggested practical was a smaller kind of intelligence. Across the classroom, a group of students copied an AI-generated paragraph onto a poster about veterinary medicine. The words were smooth and impressive: compassion, innovation, lifelong learning, limitless possibility. None of the students looked convinced by them. Mrs. Daniels stopped beside Maya and Eli's table. She had a habit of appearing when students had reached the point where confusion could become either useful or discouraging. "You two look like you have discovered a problem," she said. Maya explained the prediction. Eli explained the report, though he did not mention the way his father's comments had made the words sting. Mrs. Daniels listened without interrupting, her gaze moving from one student to the other. Finally, she tapped the title at the top of their project board. "A blueprint is valuable," she said. "It gives builders a plan, but it cannot see every cracked pipe behind a wall. It cannot predict a storm. It cannot decide what matters most to the people who will live inside the building." She looked at the glowing laptop screen. "A tool can give you information," she continued. "It cannot give you your reasons." For the next 10 minutes, she told them to close their computers and write without looking anything up. Maya wrote that she wanted to solve problems that affected real people, especially problems that were easy to ignore until they became emergencies. Eli wrote that he liked making systems work and wanted to be trusted when something important failed. Neither answer sounded as polished as the program's report. Both felt more honest. Later that week, Maya interviewed the school custodian, who showed her a water use dashboard that had detected an unusual drop in pressure near the cafeteria. The system had found the pattern, but it had not solved the leak. Mr. Bell had followed the clues, opened a wall, and discovered an old pipe that had split behind a row of storage shelves. "It tells me where to look," he said. "Then I still have to understand what I am seeing." Eli spent Saturday with his uncle, who installed solar panels and upgraded electrical systems in older homes. He expected ladders, wires, and tools. He did not expect digital meters, battery controls, safety codes, or a homeowner who needed the system explained in plain language before she agreed to anything. On presentation day, Maya and Eli removed the AI-generated sentences from their board. In their place, they added interview notes, sketches, questions, and a drawing of two roads joining at a bridge. At the top, Maya wrote, "A future is not one answer." Eli added the line beneath it, "It is a series of choices you learn to make." Now standing in the gym again, Maya looked at the student who had asked which future was safer. She recognized the worry behind his question. He was not really asking about college or trade school. He was asking whether there was a way to choose without being wrong. "I use AI in my work," Maya said. "It helps my team study water systems and test designs, but it cannot walk through a flooded neighborhood and decide what families need first." Eli nodded. "And I use it too. It can help me read system data and spot possible problems, but it cannot stand in a hot attic, notice a damaged wire, or take responsibility when the information is incomplete. So neither path was safe? The student asked. Both paths changed, Maya said. That is different. And both of us had to keep learning, Eli added. The student looked down at the brochure in his hands. Its cover showed a bright map with several routes leading away from the same point. What if I do not know what I want yet? Maya thought of room 214, of the unfinished model bridge and the blue light of a screen offering answers that had sounded certain but had not felt true. You do not need the whole map, she said. Eli smiled, and this time there was no guardedness in it. You need an honest next step. Above them, the career day banner shifted from green to blue as students passed beneath it. For a moment, Maya no longer thought it looked like a warning label. It looked like a blueprint, unfinished, changing, and waiting for someone willing to begin.